This is a special symposium on what we've called Enabling the Cloud. And it was an idea proposed by the general chairs. And Doug Freemuth, my colleague at IBM Research, and I volunteered to organize the session. Cloud computing is becoming increasingly deployed, very widely adopted. And it principally is focused upon dynamic allocation of compute and storage resources. Cloud computing is virtualization, involves virtualization. And they virtualize computers and data storage. But equally important to computing and storage is the network. And I don't think it's an aspect that has been as widely recognized or as well advanced as it has been for computing and storage. So the chairs have proposed this symposium to highlight the need for dynamic networks within this cloud computing model. And so I think it's a very timely, very interesting symposium. It's been divided into two sessions. One session is on data center networking, and the other session is on network virtualization. The session on data centers is focused on how cloud computing is affecting networking within the data center itself. And we have an excellent group of speakers to present. One is Renato Recio from IBM Watson. He's the CTO for data center networking. And he'll represent the perspective, IBM's perspective on the evolution of data center networking in the cloud computing environment. I think he presents a very well-informed perspective. Another presenter is a vice president of IT within Cisco. They have a large IT organization. He's a vice president within that organization. He represents the driver, or the user of cloud computing. So IBM represents a provider, and John Manville from Cisco is a very sophisticated user of cloud computing. Then we have other sessions which represent new developments within data center networks and inter-data center networks. So that's one session. The second session is on network virtualization. Network virtualization is evolving from a very nebulous and poorly understood concept into something that's becoming quite concrete and I think very significant. We have an excellent group of speakers. Again, one is Reza Nejabati, who's a professor in England, and he was principal investigator in a European research project on network virtualization. So he'll present a very complete overview and a solid understanding of what are the technologies in network virtualization and what does it mean. And then in terms of making it more concrete, there's been a very recent initiative by 13 or 14 carriers around the world that they call network function virtualization. This was just announced in October. And the idea there is to take functions that are presently provided by specialized hardware, such as messaging, for example, instant messaging, or deep packet inspection, and to create and to virtualize that. What that means is to take the functions, implement it in software, and then create it as a virtual machine image that can be placed within a server. So instead of having the specialized hardware to provide the service, you create a virtual machine that you set up within a server to provide that service. It's potentially an extremely significant development because all of this hardware, specialized hardware with its own management systems, can be replaced by virtualized virtual machines within a data center, eliminating much of the complexity of the operations. And also, if you have legacy services that there are customers that just refuse to let it go, you can keep it alive inside a virtual machine and a server and still serve those customers, and yet not to have the complexity and the expense of keeping the specialized hardware alive. So I think it's potentially an extremely dramatic impact of this very new technology on network architectures and on network vendors, because where previously they sold these specialized hardware, they're now presented with the prospect of implementing those functions in virtual machines. It's not entirely sure that it's going to work. There are performance issues. Can you perform as well as dedicated hardware within a virtual machine in a server? That's not at all clear. But I think they'll start to understand the issues and to start implementing this idea.